All right, hitting the segment button. So, folks, there's a guy named Charles Kirk. And he still likes to pretend he's in college, even though he's way too old. And it gets him into some weird scenarios, like, I don't know, getting a bunch of conservative college frat guys to surround queer people and ask them questions. Anyway, here's a video he put out called College Queer is All Talk, No Facts, which is on his actual YouTube channel here. And it really does seem like he's just calling this person a queer in a derogatory way. So, I haven't seen it yet. Let's see.
Hi.
How this goes.
I don't really have a specific question. What is something that you like to debate about?
Anything? What's on your mind? I want to make it more fair for you. I'm not here to pick debates. I'm here to try to teach. So, what do you tend to be more conservative or liberal?
More liberal.
Okay. Tell me how you got to that way, and tell me. This is not a trick. I'm not here to debate college kids. I'm here to try to teach. If someone debates me, I'll debate back. But
I mean, it's kind of just what aligns with my morals. I'm myself. I'm a queer person, and I know that you have a lot of stuff that you wouldn't agree with me on. But I think it's important to actually debate the topics and not just
I like their cute Hello Kitty and Friends sweatshirt.
spite. So
I totally agree. Can I ask a dumb question?
yeah.
When I grew up, calling someone queer was like a slur. Can you tell me what that means? I mean that sincerely. And how is it different than just saying you're lesbian or bisexual or gay?
So it can be different for everyone because gender, sexuality, it's a spectrum just like anything else. And for me personally, I like everyone.
No, but what does queer mean, though?
Queer, it's just a label.
What does the label mean?
It's different for everyone.
I mean, you can just say it's a catch-all term for, you know, gays, lesbians, trans people, you know, gender and sexuality preferences. Like, that's maybe sexuality preferences is like a outdated term, but I'm old. Let's do just gender and sexuality catch-all is kind of what queer means.
Okay. No, I know, but that doesn't.
I hear people going, "Oh my God."
No, I just want I want a definition. I mean, I'm not trying to put you as a trap, though. I mean this because when I grew up, if I called somebody queer, I would get in trouble. Just give me like a working definition.
Yeah, so queer is just something that you identify as with your sexuality. It can be related to gender too.
Right.
Usually it's kind of aligned counter to the dominant cultural narrative of, you know, what norms should be. Queer is kind of aligned against or in opposition or outside of what is considered normal would be queer. So it's anything outside of kind of the heteronormative idea of society. God Sinner, thank you for the $5
If you told me
super
that
chat.
is the actual size of his face, I would call you a liar.
But how do you know once you achieve queer? Like, what is the, like, can you give me saying that anybody can be it doesn't tell me what that thing is. That makes sense, though? Like, it'd be like saying you become an adult when you feel like you're an adult. I mean, you have to say that there is an objective.
I'm glad that everyone's having so much fun.
Well, they're
with this.
laughing because
Is Charlie this stupid? Yes. Like Charlie is having a really hard time understanding a broad categorization.
I'm trying to glean like what it means.
Yeah.
Because when someone says queer, that doesn't tell me anything.
Yeah, so that's what a debate is for. For
Debate back.
thank you. So, it's literally just a identity.
Right. Okay.
What is
But
identity?
Right, but like what is that identity? For example, if I were to say I'm a conservative, let me give an example.
Yeah.
A conservative is someone who believes in small government, strong borders, American exceptionalism, the Constitution. How would you then give a definition of queer?
Wait, but you can have conservatives that adhere to those in varying degrees. You know, conservative is an overarching label that applies to many different conservative ideologies. In much the same way queer can apply to many different kinds of genders and sexualities. So, like, you're just not understanding a broad categorization, Charlie.
That someone looking at could say, oh, that is queer, like connect the dots.
So, I'm gay, right?
Okay, no, that's good. So,
Yeah.
but then, so what's the difference then gay and queer?
The whole point of it is that it has a different definition for everyone.
No, I know, but what?
I mean, this is like really the only environment in which these kinds of conservative types can thrive anymore. They need to get someone who's coming in relatively unaware of what they're about to talk about that they can then get really pedantic and nitpicky about. Because this person already answered his questions. You know, they were right. Like, queerness is an overarching label that applies to, you know, a lot of people in different ways. It's not really a label that can be nailed down super well because the dominant culture shifts and changes with time, and thus does queerness shift and change with time.
What is the difference then of gay and queer?
No! I get more.
Yeah, Charlie is just being like a pedantic butt. Because, again, they've already answered this question, like, within the first 10 seconds of their answer, you know?
Forgot to put from Caracal on last message, so here's another 5. From Caracal.
Well, Godsinner/Caracal, thank you very much for the $5 super chat. I still appreciate the second one.
Questions, right?
Yeah, sure.
When did I say I was good at it?
No, guys, I'm not. I mean this because I think that in society, just so you know my perspective,
So,
they're not
what?
chanting at you, just so you know.
No, I have a real question.
Okay.
I have a real question. What are your favorite policies that you want implemented from Trump? Like, if he were to be elected?
I think we should drill our natural resources to bring down the price of oil and natural gas. I think we should broker peace between Russia and Ukraine. I think we should try to end the Israeli war as quickly and as humanely possible. I believe we should secure the southern border, cut taxes for middle-income earners, no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax.
See, this is a dangerous question to ask Charlie, because he's basically just going to ramble off everything in the most positive light possible, because, like, Donald Trump's quick and humane end to the conflict between Israel and Palestine would just be to wipe Palestine out completely to a child.
Tax on overtime, no men and women's sports. Those are just some of the policies off the top of my head.
Yeah, so I agree that taxes should be lowered because the taxes are extremely high, especially.
Well, yeah, of course, this person's not at all equipped to talk to someone whose entire life is dedicated to being a propagandist. Like, the reason he does these speaking tours on college campuses and the reason he does these, like, debate me, bro, is to get these clips, you know? Like, that's the entire thing. Like, he's deliberately going out there to find people who are ill-equipped, underprepared, or ignorant on different minutia about politics. Because, again, most people don't pay a ton of attention to politics, and that number gets a lot bigger when you're talking about, high school aged, fresh out of high school or college aged people. Like that's a particularly vulnerable demographic set for his particular tactic here. It's why like Ben Shapiro and Milo Yiannopoulos were able to use this to great effect. Steven Crowder as well, but yeah, the people you see on Jubilee are all social media influencers for the most part who like do talk about politics all the time. The people in these videos are just, college students doing their thing and getting like sidetracked into this while going about their daily activities. So, yeah, like this is a matchup that is deliberately set for Charlie to excel at.
Here, and I know you brought up earlier that it's way more expensive now to have housing than it was even like a couple years ago. And I think it's super important to talk about that because it's really impossible for especially college students to be expected to have housing after they graduate.
So, totally agree. So why is it that when Trump was president, an average house you could get at $75,000 combined income a year, now it's $130,000 a year? Why is that?
So I will say that I don't agree with everything that Kamala Harris stands for, and I'm not that knowledgeable about it. That's why I'm having the debate so I can learn.
Okay. Pro tip. If you are not someone who knows a lot about politics, do not participate in events like this because he's just relying on you to create content like college queer is all talk, no facts. Like, this is not a scenario that is set up for your edification. Unfortunately.
But I also don't agree with Trump. So
On what though? What?
I just don't.
Can you give me?
Yup, boo me!
I'm not. Don't. No, guys, don't.
I love that they don't give that many fucks though. Like I love their attitude.
No, please.
Yes!
Don't boo.
Thank
Don't
you,
boo.
guys.
Please don't boo. What's your name?
Taylor.
Taylor, thank you for coming up. Can you give me 2 things that you don't agree with Trump on, or would you like me to try to win you over for Trump?
So you're not going to be able to do that, but I appreciate it.
Well, then you're not open-minded.
Well, then you're not open-minded. I'm open-minded. It's just the arguments for Trump are bad.
So, well, first of all,
If you say that there's nothing you can then hear to be won over for Trump, then you got to give me a good reason, at least 2, why you don't like Trump.
he's racist. Yup, boo me.
Use Google.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, so let me ask you a dumb question.
Again, what kills me inside is that I have like decent answers for most of what he's replying with, like or what they're demanding of this person. Like, give an example. Okay, he didn't want black people on the floors of his casinos because he thought they looked unprofessional, and this was widely known by the staff that worked at the casinos, and they have attested to it in numerous reports on how his casinos operated. That's just one.
Can you define what does it mean to be racist?
Do you want me to look up a definition?
No, I want you to. You said he's a racist, so you must have a definition of racism in your mind. Tell me what that definition is.
Okay, so, ooh, I'm gonna make you guys wait on this. Ooh, zero knowledge.
Guys, please don't heckle. I want to try to understand because these words have a lot of meaning.
Yeah.
But you can't get. I know it's hard on the spot. I just want you to think about it because if you say Trump is a racist,
These words have a lot of meaning, says guy who used a slur in the title of his video. You might be like, oh, but Jack, queer's not a slur anymore. I think you can still use queer in a derogatory way, and I believe this video definitely falls into that category.
you should be able to easily give a definition of what that word means.
So it's hatred towards another race, right?
So when has he ever exhibited?
Again, hatred towards another race or racial characteristics, as well as deep dislike or repulsion to another race. Because again, a lot of racists will be like, I don't hate any race of people. I just think they'd be better off over there, separate from us.
That? Give me clear and specific examples.
You got one? Well, yeah, I heard someone say he told. Yes!
Okay, but let me just help you out here.
Uh-huh.
What, you think he's a racist because the media has told you he's a racist? Because you can't give me an example off the top of your head, and even when you phone a friend to the audience. I'm not criticizing you. Maybe the media is lying to you.
See, this is the other thing, right? Like, if you don't have an answer off the top of your head in this particular thing, he will film it, and then he will, like, editorialize about your lack of knowledge. Like, yes, you see, the reason you don't have an answer for that is because you've been lied to the entire time. When really the reality is you just didn't prep for this like he did,
Maybe the man who's being called a racist is actually someone that's trying to improve lives of all Americans.
I think this is fun, guys. So.
Okay, so let me just ask one final question.
I mean, I think debates can be good, Ethriel, but, like, that doesn't mean all debates are good. Debates can be really good and really rich in information and rhetoric in ways that move people and sway them to new and interesting positions. I think debates can be good. This is not a good debate. This is Charlie Kirk taking advantage of someone, and a large group of college students, really, who are not prepared to deal with his media training. He has been through like a decade now of media training specifically geared towards making college students look bad for his aging boomer audience.
For you,
Yeah.
Which is, you say you are liberal,
Yeah.
right? And you say you lean to the left.
Yeah.
Are you open-minded to have your mind changed on your core political principles?
On my core political principles,
Or
if
philosophical?
If it's a fact, then sure.
Cool. So can I give you a fact I want you to think about? Kamala Harris, as she's been in charge of the border, we have 300.
See, this is why you need to know. This is why you need to know stuff. Because as soon as he says Kamala Harris, as she's been in charge of the border, and it's like, if you know anything about our government, if you've been paying attention, if you know how the vice president works, you know that she's not in charge of anything to do with the border. She has no power over the border as vice president.
20,000 missing children right now in this country that were all sex trafficked or labor trafficked across the southern border.
Citation needed.
Do you agree that that should probably get more attention?
I think any type of issue like that should get attention.
Have you heard about that before me mentioning it?
Not really. Like I said, I don't really know that much.
No, but hold on. But you knew enough to say Trump was a racist. Why do you think you don't know that there's 320,000 missing kids in America? Why is that?
It's not really presented in the media. The media is so focused right now on the battle between conservative and liberal.
But isn't that a core part of the battle, that the liberal vice president has allowed 320,000 kids to go missing?
So how has she allowed that exactly?
That's a good question. She's in charge of the border. She has stopped DNA testing at the border. So if a kid comes to the border, 12 years old, and someone says, I'm their father, there's no DNA rapid testing that takes 90 seconds to make sure that's actually the father. Most times it's a pimp that is selling the girl into sex slavery in the interior of the United States. Kamala Harris specifically got rid of that policy.
You know, I'm just spitballing here, but well, shouldn't one of the big problems we be addressing in this entire equation are the people who are buying children for sex? Should we not be going after the demographic that is creating a market for these sex trafficked children? Because that seems like something we could and should be doing. Oh wait, Donald Trump was photographed multiple times with Jeffrey Epstein, and they had a close relationship over a decade ago, where Donald Trump said that he and Jeffrey both like him young. Maybe the Republican Party is not too interested in going after the people buying children for sex, I guess.
So it was in place before?
Yes, when Donald Trump was president, it required DNA testing, and families would remain together, and they were not granted asylum.
That's not true. Families didn't remain together under Donald Trump. It's literally why there's now an entire government program to reunite families that were split apart under the Trump administration.
Into the interior.
Many of those children got bought by American families, and now, like, their real parents don't have them anymore.
Country, and we had remain in Mexico, the lowest border crossings in American history. Under Kamala Harris, we have 10 million people coming illegally.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let's take a look here. Yeah, Border Patrol apprehensions. Yeah, nah, dog. Something tells me that we didn't have the lowest number of border crossings under Trump, but okay, son.
Legally into America.
Okay. Next person.
All right, I want you to think about these things, and maybe one day you'll remember this conversation, and you'll think back that maybe conservatives have been right all along. Thank you.
God, like if you're gonna go into a scenario like this, you do not make Charlie Kirk look like some sage dispensing wisdom. Because his point was so abysmally bad. They only talked to college students because they were just kids when Trump was in office. Well, that's part of it. But like this was a thing before Trump too. Like they talked to college kids because college kids have less of an idea of what's going on, generally speaking. But you know, it's what allows them to get clips like that. I feel bad for that person because they came in trying, but like I think they were under the impression it would be more of a good faith back and forth, and it's political propaganda doesn't work that way. It will rig the deck in his favor every single time it can get away with it. Damn. I feel for her. Or them. I felt weird with pronouns that entire video. I'm not sure if they identify as like they, them, she, her. I was trying to default to they, them. Uh, Charlie Kirk can only really seem like a sensible, astute adult when he's arguing against, college students who aren't as hip to his shenanigans. So, anyway, moving right along.